For more analysis on the growing tensions with Venezuela and other top stories of the week, I want to bring in CNN political commentator Michael Smerconish. He's the host of CNN's Smerconish, also the Michael Smerconish program on Sirius XM. Thanks so much, Michael, for joining us. We always love having you in the Situation Room. Where do you see this conflict with Venezuela going next, and how much do you expect it could potentially become a liability for President Trump, who has campaigned on ending U.S. entanglement in so-called foreign wars?
Yeah, it does seem at odds with his posture of no forever wars. And I draw a distinction between the attack on September 2nd, the second boat strike, and the situation in Venezuela. And Wolf, this is the way that I see it. Relative to that second boat strike, there's a partisan divide on it, and Republicans see this as an aggressive posture that was necessitated by all these drugs coming into our country. People disagree relative to whether the second strike was proper. We haven't seen the video, but you know the Trump position. The Trump position is one of these boats are bringing drugs. I had a guy today on radio saying to me, hell yeah, blow them out of the water. Venezuela, I don't think the administration has defined exactly what is the intent and purpose. Is it regime change? Is it to stop drugs from coming into the country? Is it immigration? Is it all of the above? I think that they need to more clearly articulate exactly what they're doing, because our history in the not too distant past has been that regime change doesn't end well. It all sounded great when it was Iraq, and the idea was they're going to embrace democracy and welcome the United States, and we know it didn't turn out that way.
As you know, Michael, another sensitive issue, Congress this week failing to pass health care legislation, and we're quickly approaching the expiration date for those Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies that affect so many Americans out there. I want to play what one Republican Congressman, Don Bacon, told our colleague Manu Raju. Listen to this.
And all these folks are going to go back home, and you're going to have to look voters in the eye and say we've done nothing while their premiums are going up like $2,000 a month. It's not going to happen. The reality is going to hit here. To me, it's just basic reality. We need a short-term extension. And then let's talk about some deeper reforms.
The Speaker seems dead set against this, though.
Because what he's hearing from a lot of folks, hey, we didn't vote for ACA, we didn't vote for the IRA, this is a Democrat problem, but we're in charge.
How bad do you think this will be for Republicans if you do not extend these subsidies?
I think it will be used like a sledgehammer on us a year from now. The reality will be bad.
So what do you think? You suspect he's right?
I remember having this conversation with you a couple of months ago in the context of the government shutdown and voicing the opinion that when we get to the end of the year, and now people not only dependent on subsidies, but all Americans opening up their envelopes and seeing the escalation of their health insurance premium, in my case, 20.6 or 7%. Now the timing is such that I think the pendulum is going to swing toward Democrats unless there's a Republican alternative. I find interesting that Congressman Mike Fitzpatrick from my backyard, who is really in a purple district, Bucks County, Pennsylvania, is now playing a leadership role. I'm sure because he's worried that this is exactly the type of issue that would put him on the bubble in 2026 unless there's resolution. By the way, his solution is extend the subsidies for 2 years with reforms.
That's Congressman Brian Fitzpatrick, right?
Oh my gosh, I just referenced his brother who's deceased and who held the seat previously. Thank you, Wolf.
All right. The health care debate folds into the broader conversation about Americans' affordability concerns. President Trump traveled to your state, beautiful state of Pennsylvania, state I love, this week to talk about that. Listen to what he said. Listen to this.
I have no higher priority than making America affordable again. That's what we're going to do. And again, they caused the high prices and we're bringing them down. It's a simple message. Democrats talking about affordability is like Bonnie and Clyde preaching about public safety.
How do you think, Michael, voters will judge that messaging in next year's midterms?
What's unique about this in sort of the history of Trump 1.0 and 2.0 is that now the economy is becoming a liability for him. It's been his strong suit, that and immigration. And yet, according to the data, the polls, Kristen Soltis Anderson has a good analysis today in the Times. It's now because of the economy that his numbers are in decline. We haven't seen that before.
Michael Smerconish, as always, thank you very much for joining us. And to our viewers, be sure to catch Michael's show, Smerconish, every Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern, right here on CNN. I watch it.